Hi, this is Mary Flower. I would like to show you some books that I'm working on. I'm going to start out with these two large books. They're at least 12 inches by about 18 inches. And these are my most favorite childhood books for two different reasons, and I'll explain that. I'll start with The Little Ballerina. I took out the middle. As you can see, it was not very thick, but I've decided to make it into a binder, and I will include this in the book. Now, the reason I like this one is because many years ago, I had a scholarship in dance, and I always loved to dance, and I always thought of this as me, and I've had this since I was about 10 years old, and I'm over 60 now, so it's quite some time that I've had it, and I really enjoyed it. Then what I did was I took an old binder is what I did, and I ripped out the hardware, and then I put it in here. This is about 3/4 of an inch in here, and I wanted to keep this little girl. I could have put fabric along here like I will show you on the other one, but I didn't want to because I have signatures on here when I wrote when I was little, and even this little handwritten word that says Mary and an arrow pointing to the little girl, because I always imagined this little girl to be me. And so many times I've opened this book and looked at this precious little dog. So I couldn't hide that part. So I left it as is. I just added some flannel on the outside and used buttons to hold it. And I'll show you how I did that in a minute. Here's the inside of the book, which will be included at the back of the book. But I will start journaling about my younger life when I was, from the time I was born till about the time I got this book. I will journal in this one. Now the other one is a Raggedy Andy book, Raggedy Ann and Andy's story. And as you can see, it wasn't that thick. It's large, but it wasn't very thick. And this is another favorite book, partly because I have made hundreds of Raggedy dolls and some Raggedy Ann and Andy's in my life, hundreds of them. And so I really am attached to this. And I've done this the same way. I've made this a little thicker than the other one. And this one I did find in my fabric pieces, barely enough fabric to put Raggedy Ann and Andy fabric on both the back and the front of this. This will be attached in here. I will probably have to do something to the edges to size it down just a little bit, because it's different when you put it in a binder versus it being in there as a book. And I will be working in this from time to time, and I will do this on camera, which will be, I'll probably do this one from the time I'm about 10 years old till the time I'm like a teenager, because I loved dolls and Raggedy dolls even when I was a teenager. So I will be doing that one as well. Now, I'm also going to show you 5 other books that I've been working on. I've had this family of paper dolls for a long time, and I love paper dolls, and I've made a lot of articulated paper dolls, if you'll see some of my other videos. And I just thought, I have got to use these in a book. And I love the big buttons. And I thought, what a wonderful way. Gina from the Rebookery gave me this idea, and I found these wonderful buttons. And then I put them in regular just books from a library, covered it with flannel in different ways, did some faux stitch work with markers, added a single or a symbol kind of above each one, as you will see. And then on the inside, I have aged the pages with coffee made different pockets, done some sewing, and these, I love how they turned out. Look at this, how pretty these are. I will be using some of the clothing that go with these paper dolls as some of the tags and be using it that way. As you can see, I was experimenting. I'm not sure if I want to keep it like this. It's kind of fun, but this one was a little thick. But I'm not finished with these. I pretty much done the main part of the work for this one and this one. And what's cute, she's the smallest, or it's a he, I'm not really sure. Probably a she. And I used another little symbol above this paper doll. And I did the same kind of thing with flannel and pieces and glued them. The same kind of faux stitching around it with markers. And what's cute about this, because this is my smallest paper doll in the paper doll family that I had, it says, "A teeny bit of trouble," which I thought was so cute. I just couldn't cover the whole thing. I decided to leave this cute little name of the book in there. And I've done the same thing with aged papers, sewn them up, making pockets and even places to write. More little pockets, and I love the way the pages turned out. The coffee, it has made the colors so interesting. They just remind me of the 50s, and I've tried to pick colors that were simple and simple patterns from the 50s, because I was born in 53. And so I remember that time period very well, and so I decided to keep very plain designer paper. And I've got this one, which is the second, one of the smaller girls in the family. I have cut off the legs because it took too much room, but I like it anyway. And this one isn't finished. This one is thinner, so I'll probably be using some very happy buttons, but smaller. And I'll be binding it the same way. Now this one's half finished. I have enough for one signature, and I will be making a second signature and folding them, making pockets. So this one isn't finished, but I wanted to show you how cute these are. Then one of the older girls did the same thing. I took this flannel that's kind of has little circus type clowns on it, and I put 3 little stars, and I did the same faux stitching with markers, and I will be doing 2 signatures with this as well. This isn't finished, and I think I will age them and sew them. And also this one. Now, because of the size on this one, I can't use the 12 by 12 designer paper, and I'm only going to do 1 signature. So I took some file folders and cut them differently. I will probably age these as well. I'll probably put some designer paper sewn into it, or fabric, one of the two, and do the same thing, but it will only have 1 signature, and I will use much smaller buttons on here. I've chosen some that go with this very well, and so I will be doing an update on this as I finish them. Also, I will be working in them, and so I'd like to do that on camera to show you what I'm doing. So, there you go with those. These are my cute paper doll books that I'm working on, and these are my 2 favorite books of all time that I'm working on, which I will be journaling in about my younger childhood. And as you can see, they're much larger than these. These are also binders, and I like that because then I can do my journaling and then put them in there. So if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, give me a nice comment, and And please check out my free giveaways. Thank you.